Hey there, welcome along. If you're looking for help on how to downgrade from Android 15 in any flavor, be that beta, preview, or stable release, then you're in the right place. I do this guide every single year, and this is the one for you. If you're a seasoned Android veteran though, move along. This video isn't for you. You probably know what you're doing already, but this guide actually includes full instructions on how to downgrade your device on PC. I've now included Mac controls and using the Android Flash tool, which is super simple. Be sure to use the timestamps down below to skip to the sections you need if you're stuck. So without any further ado, let's get started. A tiny bit of housekeeping first though, you should definitely back up any important or critical files on your device if you are hoping to go back to Android 14, as your smartphone is going to be wiped a couple of times throughout this process, no matter which one you do follow. There's absolutely no way around this. No matter which avenue or method that you do choose, it's unfortunately a necessary evil as part of every method, no matter which way you do choose, and there is no way to bring your files back unless you do restore them later on. So definitely go and back them up right now using any service that you do prefer. We also need to download a few things first before we can get started. Don't worry, you'll find all links in the description below and a full written step-by-step guide too that you can follow along with at your own pace, and you can also copy and paste any of these commands that you see on screen. Alternatively, as I said at the start of this video, use the chapters in this video itself to skip forward or backward as you need them to save you time and get your problem solved. So to initiate any process and contact with your PC or Mac, you'll want to install the latest Android SDK platform tools. I've left a link down in the description for quick access, so you can just grab those. Basically, our advice is to download this file to somewhere easy like your desktop, maybe your downloads folder if you do prefer that. You'll also want to unzip these files so that you can access them. If you haven't already, now is actually a good time to get the 7-zip utility on Windows, which is free and lets you open lots of archived files with ease. On Mac, just double click will open that archived folder, make it a little bit easier. We'll also need a factory image for your Pixel, and I would say be sure to download only the right factory image for your Pixel, as you will encounter issues if trying to use an incorrect build. Again, links will be in the description with device code names. Skip this process if you are using the Android Flash tool, as there's absolutely no downloads needed, and for that method, making it a lot easier. It is a browser-based process after all. Before we start plugging things into the PC, on your Pixel you will need to make sure OEM unlocking and USB debugging is enabled. You'll need to enable developer options first by heading to Settings, System, About Phone, and then tapping the build number on your device several times until a little pop-up appears to confirm that you have activated this already, or you need to activate the feature. Sometimes you'll have to enter your PIN here or your fingerprint, so do that and it should be enabled. Now with that done, we need to go back to the System Settings menu, and from here you can simply tap that developer options section, but you will need to do things like activate OEM unlocking and USB debugging. So search down for those, enable them. If it hits you with a warning, just accept those because it is part of the process. Now with those enabled, plug your Pixel into your PC or Mac, and on Windows, head to the platform tools folder. On Windows, then type CMD into the address bar to open a command prompt window in the right place. On Mac, you can just right click that folder, choose services and new terminal at this folder. So with your phone plugged in, you want to check that it's been recognized by your PC or your Mac. So what we can do is tap ADB devices, and the alternate version for Mac is also on screen now, then press enter. You'll now see a little list of any devices attached to your PC or Mac with a device ID, so you know to proceed and you know that it's connected safely. On Mac, you might also get the Android file transfer application pop up, and that is usually an indication that something is working. First up, we need to unlock the device bootloader so that we can flash that Android 14 OTA file. So this is going to be the same for either method. So what we need to do is enter ADB reboot bootloader to get into fastboot on your device. Now enter fastboot flashing unlock. At this stage, you'll get a potentially scary message on your Pixel, but just use the volume keys to move to the highlighted option and select unlock the bootloader and press the power button to accept this. So sadly, there's no touchscreen controls here. You will be needing to use those volume controls and the power button. This is the first wipe of your device, so when it has restarted and booted into the setup mode, quickly skip through this initial device setup process without signing in and adding any accounts. It's particularly unnecessary and pointless at this stage. Skipping this process means we can re-enable USB debugging, which is super important. We definitely need to do this because we will need that activated again so we can enter fast boot once more. So go back to settings and go and enable that in the developer options again. And at this stage, if you're planning on using the Android Flash tool, then you can just skip ahead to the time or chapter that's shown on screen in this video to get to that method. Alternatively, with your Pixel plugged into your PC or Mac or laptop, enter command prompt again or a terminal window, and then using the CMD command on Windows or right clicking on Mac and choosing Services and New Terminal. At this folder, we want to open that again. Now type ADB reboot bootloader. Ensure you have those zipped OTA files in that platform tools folder as well, and not any subfolders or anywhere hard to find. The OTA file that we downloaded for your specific device, that Android 14 OTA. Now within that command prompt or terminal window, enter flash-all to start the process of flashing your Android 14 build. This process can take a couple of minutes because it is a large file. During this time, do not close the window or unplug your device. Leave it until you get a message confirming that the process has finished, and then you will also be able to press any key on your device to enter. This is the second time that your Pixel will be wiped, so you'll need to re-skip through the setup process and re-enable USB debugging so that we can lock the bootloader and get future OTA push updates in a timely manner. Now, if you're using the Android Flash tool, find the links below this video to access factory images for your specific Pixel device. Once you have found the right build, tap the Flash hyperlink and this will launch the Android Flash tool page. Tapping the Get Started button will just initiate a pop-up that you'll need to accept to allow ADB access. This also means that your Pixel will be able to communicate with your computer and the downgrade process back to Android 14 can commence in earnest. A new page will appear explaining the steps. From here, just click that Add a New Device button, and provided your smartphone is connected and the prerequisite recovery mode is enabled, it should be recognized. Select your Pixel, double check that software build if it is the one that you want to install, and also from here you can relock that bootloader without needing to use command line. It's definitely a time-saving process, and if you are happy with all of this, just click install and I accept when the license agreement box appears. The installation process should now take a few minutes to install, but ensure that your device is securely connected and does not disconnect during this process. You'll be greeted with a new page that confirms the software has been successfully updated, while your Pixel should now boot into the software you have selected. Relocking your bootloader is an optional process, but it is the same process no matter which method you do choose, whether that be on Mac and PC, and it is worthwhile if you do not intend to root your phone and want those OTA updates pushed to your devices, as I mentioned earlier in the video. So with USB debugging enabled, make sure you go and do that and check that it is enabled. Reopen your command prompt window or your terminal window within that platform tools folder. Now we can begin that process of relocking the bootloader by entering fastboot flashing lock. On your Pixel, you will need to use those volume keys again to scroll to the lock the bootloader option and press that power button to accept it. This will restore your device once more, but from here you can actually reboot and voila, your device should now be running a stable Android 14 build. It's also worth noting that this process can be used to downgrade further Android versions. For example, you can go from Android 11 to Android 10 or Android 10 to Android Pie on an older phone, provided your device has a build, a public build that is, from each specific release, and we have dedicated guides for those in the description below too. The process is fairly similar, it is really easy to follow. The thing is, I would say I don't recommend doing this as it actually introduces potential security risks and some hardware features can be disabled. For example, if you have a Pixel 4, Face Unlock will be disabled if you do downgrade too far. Hopefully though, this walkthrough has helped you if you want to go back to older stable builds for your phone. If you have any questions, then do pop them down below and we'll try to help as best we can within reason. This is Damien though saying thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this and it helped you with any problems you may have had with your device, and I will catch you in the next one.